Happy New Year! I'm Rosalia,
I'm Zita.
And I'm Valerie.
and this is Career Advising and Transition Services coming to you live from 688 Sherbrooke. A nice, comfortable room where we can see the snow. Looks like it's snowing upwards today, which is always lovely. So I hope you're all good at home. I want to say at the beginning, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any concerns, please, now's the time or throughout the whole time, and we'll be on for about 30 minutes, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Feel free to please type in your questions. If you missed this and you're watching this at some point after the fact because you didn't see it live, you can still post your questions and we will still answer them. So we're here for you live or not so live.
Yeah.
So I said Happy New Year. I think it's still socially acceptable to say Happy New Year because it's not the end of January and we haven't had a chance to speak, you and I, us and you, in a long time. So we wish you all the best for 2019. We hope that all your goals are realized and that any struggles that you've had over the past few years are resolved. And so that is our wish for you. But we're not just going to leave you with wishes.
Nope.
We're actually going to provide some tools and some information for you to help you get through this year shining brightly.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we've decided to call this Facebook Live, and maybe even the theme for the year of Let's Make It Happen.
Yep.
Because this is the year was already coined by Oprah, so we're not going to take that one. But let's make it happen. That's a good one. So how could you make it happen? Well, I want to talk to you a little bit before we get into the nitty-gritty of things about resolutions, some statistics about resolutions, because who doesn't like statistics?
Right.
So according to US News, 80% of resolutions fail by February. That's a pretty sobering number, right? A pretty sobering statistic. And overall, within a year, only 9.2% of people achieve their resolutions. Well, that's the end of our show. Don't bother doing it. No, of course not. Those are sobering statistics, absolutely.
Right.
But I don't think it's the resolutions that are a problem. It's what we decide to take on as resolutions.
Right.
And I think we have to be realistic and have SMART goals. So everybody knows what SMART goals are. The fact that they're achievable, the A in SMART is probably the most, arguably, I'd say the most important part, that you make them achievable, that they're bite-sized little baby steps that you know you can achieve, and that'll take you to the next level.
Exactly.
So rather than a huge lifestyle change, but this year, even though I've never ran in my life, I'm going to run a 30-kilometer marathon. I suppose I could do that. I won't, but I suppose I could.
Break it down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to suddenly tomorrow decide, let me start by running 10 and then next week I'll run 15. That's not going to happen. It's a silly example, but I think it's the problem with resolutions in general. Resolutions themselves are not the issues, right?
And you know what I started doing years ago, just as an antidote? I stopped making resolutions and I started making lifestyle changes.
Yes.
And every year you kind of build on those changes, or within the year you can build on it. So one year was being more punctual, because I felt people's time was so important that I was sometimes wasting time or not planning accordingly, because we all know Montreal's construction has been the same for a long time. So I couldn't blame it on things that I knew were always going to be a factor. So small things that helped me identify that I value people and timing was a way. So lifestyle changes to make it a bigger piece in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great advice. And it's little changes. So do you have some examples? And you gave one now, but do you have any other examples of pertaining to the job search or upping your skills or entering the workforce? Do you have any lifestyle changes that people could easily adopt?
It's a great thing to ask, because I feel sometimes we want to bite off more than we can chew. And if we do little things, like you're saying, it allows for us to also measure it. Back to a SMART goal, the being able to have something small and specific, but to measure it and then reassess and move on. So one thing I'd like to recommend possibly is reformatting your resume. Right? If you reformat your resume, it is a small piece, but it could be something of a really nice exercise to reformat how you see yourself in the workforce also. The kind of vibe you put towards it, the kind of energy you're putting towards it. Do it in a positive sense. Do it in a something better will come, or something new is on its way, opposed to, oh, if not now, never.
Yes.
Your mindset will change, and there's ways you can do this really nice reformat. You can look online for trends. Resumes change over time because they have to be attractive.
Yes.
Right? And don't forget, your resume is your your best real estate. It's the first impression you're sending to an employer or a recruiter.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that it is up to industry standards. You could do online searching to see for some templates, but also if there are some trends that are emerging in different fields. Maybe if you're in design, you want to have it look a little bit more specific to that.
Yeah.
If you're in engineering, I'm just thinking of things off the top of my head, of course,
Yes.
there are certain standards by which people in that industry want it to look. So if you want to overhaul your resume, that's a really nice way to kind of give yourself a tool and an actionable item, but also put you in the mindset of looking for work again.
Absolutely. And it's a SMART goal. It's definitely achievable. It's easy to find samples. And you would be shocked. Sometimes we have students or clients come to see us and they tell us, well, I've sent 1,000 CVs, or I've sent 500 CVs, or I've sent 200 CVs. And we look at their CVs and it breaks certain norms that are standard, like it is 5 pages. So right away, before you even have a chance to speak to an employer or that they read what you're all about and your skills and your experience and your background and your education, they might take that 5-page CV, because I can tell you most people are not going to read a 5-page CV, and just toss it. So there go all your efforts. And this is something you can do. Look at your CV. Make sure, as Zita said, it is up to date.
Correct.
And follow certain guidelines that are easy to follow. And if you need help with that, you can always come see us as well. If you're struggling with this.
A tip to add to that, if I may, is go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Really take your time and look at it, but also print it out. And the reason I say to print it out is sometimes your spacing and the indentations and the paragraphs, they shift when it's printed. So it may not actually look the way you want it to look. And read it out loud. I say that because sometimes we miss words because we know what we're trying to say and we know how we're trying to present ourselves. But when you read it out loud, you might see and hear gaps. And also and this is normal for all of us, our first language is what our first language is, and then we might struggle to really get the grammar down for our subsequent languages that we know. Ask somebody for help.
Yes.
Ask a colleague or a friend to read it that's better in that language, or bring it to a center like ours.
Yes.
That's why we're here. We're here to help you transition, but also make sure that you're using strong action verbs. You're using the right ways to sell yourselves, opposed to having the person want to dig deeper because they don't have time.
Those are excellent points. And one thing we hear often is people don't want to bother other people with having them read their CV. They even include us in that when that is our mandate and role here at CAT.
It's our joy.
It's our, absolutely. And they say that about their friends, but that's what friends are for. But seriously, it'll take just a little bit of their time. And why would you not present the best CV you could? So absolutely. Great tips. Easy tips.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful.
I think going back to lifestyle changes and the little habits that we, can kind of modify. Something about January 1st makes people think that they're starting afresh and starting something new. So take advantage of that, right? So if you need to update your CV and the look of it, now's the time. Maybe you didn't do that in 2018, but it is a new year and it's a new time to kind of try something new and reframe the narrative that you have in terms of your job search or your professional career. Refine it. Now's the time to do it.
I love the reframe the narrative because it's the idea of, okay, if you really want to make 2019 amazing and meaningful, you could make resolutions, which again, that's great. You can make some lifestyle changes, but if you're gonna really think about the negatives that happened to you last year, prior to that, if you're gonna focus on that rather than opportunities, you're gonna start 2019 off in a challenging way.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we present this? Focus on the yes. If we focus on the yes, meaning you are going to send out your resume, we know it's a hard process. We've all actually had to go through that process to find work many times over. So you have to send out your resume. You have to have a great cover letter. You have to hone your skills. And sometimes companies don't respond. They don't even give you the feedback that you're looking for to try to get better. We know that, and it's tough. So don't focus on the no's and how tough it is, but focus on that one yes. Of the amount of resumes you're going to send out, of the amount you have to do. Looking for work is work.
Absolutely,
right?
It absolutely is.
Approach it like a job. Approach it like something you're putting your heart and soul into, because what will come is really beneficial to you.
And in the end, when you get that job, when you land the job you've been looking for, all the no's from before, whether there were 5, 15,
Absolutely.
55, 140, none of that will matter.
Yep.
Only the yes will matter. And that's something to really
Focus on.
focus
Yeah.
on. Absolutely.
You know,
Great.
it's so interesting because sometimes I'm sure we think about the focus and where we want to go, but what if somebody doesn't have a plan?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do then?
No, it's important to have a plan, and especially when we talk about SMART goals. It's not only important to have SMART goals, it's important to write them down. If you're stuck, if you're not sure exactly what's the next step for you, planning that out in your head is extremely important early on in the year so that you can capitalize on the time that you have left. One of the ways that you can do that in terms of your career and maybe reframing that narrative we were talking about early is to attend the professional transition series that we're starting next week. So the professional transition series is designed to help those that are looking for a new career, or you're kind of revamping who you are and you're not really sure where to start. You're not sure how to articulate your skills, right? Everything that needs to go onto your CV, you're not really sure how to frame it yet. The professional transition series is designed for you to help you get into that headspace. So definitely check out our website. It's starting next week, Wednesday, January 23rd already. So we hope to see you there next week. There's also other things you can do, be it planning to attend events or planning to get out of your comfort zone. One of the events that we want to put on your radar is the SCS Job Fair that is taking place on March 15th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Job fairs are fantastic. Yes, the ultimate goal of a job fair is to land a job, but there are countless other benefits. If you go to our website, you'll find at least 50 benefits to attending our job fair.
Absolutely.
But they're countless. Sure, if you land a job because you went to a job fair, fantastic. Yeah. But you will gain so much more, and all that is gravy on top. So we hope to see all of you on March 15th, and registration is open. But not just our job fair, right? As Valerie said, get out there. Any opportunity to network, meet people, especially if you're new to Montreal and you don't have a social and/or professional network, it's really important to get out there as much as you can, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if you're not sure where to start. And that's something we can help you with. Certainly in the professional transition series, we talk about the importance of networking and building your network. And we use a framework because, as Valerie talked about having a plan, this series, which runs for 6 consecutive Wednesdays, is that right, Valerie? Yes, and Valerie and Zita actually will be facilitating this fantastic opportunity for all of you. It works with a plan so that it helps guide you. You don't need your plan. We have one for you. We'll walk you through it.
Yeah.
What I also think is really helpful is we are a resource. We're a great center for that. And for our students, it is a great way to meet other students that are maybe going through similar things, or network and learn about different fields, different perspectives. And it's free for SCS students. I feel it's important that we highlight that too, because we want to really have you maximize on all of the opportunities that are here and presented to you. And circling back to this concept of the year of yes, why don't we, present to you a lifestyle change of going out maybe once a month or once every 6 weeks to network, or to try something that's out of your comfort zone. Because the saying is really, once you do something different that challenges you, you get a real result out of it.
Yes.
So if going to meet new people is scary, because it can be daunting.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And it can be scary. Well, we're not telling you to go out every weekend. We're not asking you to, uproot yourself and always be out. But if you challenge yourself to go out once, every season, maybe even starting there, that way you can see new people and experience the city as the seasons change. There's a different energy too, and you never know who you meet. It's like that saying, you never have a bad workout once you actually get there. So once you actually get to the event, it may not be fruitful in the sense of, you meet tons of people, but you might spark that one conversation with somebody and it becomes a lasting mentorship or friendship.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And you'll have actually another opportunity to come out and meet with us and meet with industry leaders. We're actually having a basically a Meet Recruiters event. It's on a Friday evening, February 1st to be exact, from 6 to 9 p.m. And what happens is we're going to invite 4 to 6, and we've already invited them, or we're keeping their names as a surprise. That way you'll also go on our website and learn more about it. But there'll be 4 to 6 recruiters, some that work for organizations or companies that specialize in a certain industry, like IT, for example, and others actually will work at recruiting agencies. And they will talk about different elements of being hired and of their experiences as recruiters and what helps employees stand out for them and job seekers stand out for them. If you are looking for work or know you're going to be looking for work soon or are not sure about how the Montreal labor market works, this is an event you absolutely don't want to miss. On top of that, because it's Friday night, you know, you're thinking, well, why wouldn't I go and do something fun on a Friday night? Well, this is fun, right?
Yeah.
We can attest to these events
I
being
think we're fun.
Yes, I think we're fun too. And all the people you'll have as invited guests are fun. But also, there's going to be drinks and wine and cheese. So it is going to be like a 5 à 7, very Montreal style, where while you're networking, you're also enjoying some drinks and some food and some great conversation and meeting peers. So again, this is on our website. Registration for that will open this week, but you can email us at cats@mcgill.ca if you want to reserve your spot today. We'll be happy to do that.
Yeah.
So what else did we want to cover today? There's so much, you know, a new year brings on so many new things, and we're planning right now. We have so many events coming up for you this term. We've already talked about, or this year I should say, we've already talked about several of them, but there's certainly no shortage. Which brings me to another thing. If there's something you've been wanting to see, or you're new to the School of the School of Continuing Studies, and there's a type of event or activity you would like to see, again, email us at CATS, and we'll be happy to consider that.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So anything you'd like to add, Valerie, about our new year, making it happen?
There's a question.
Oh, we have a question. Is there a cost? Okay, so if you're talking about the professional transition series, it is free for SCS students or alumni, alumni who have recently graduated from the school. If you're talking about the recruiter event on the evening, that will have a nominal cost to it, and it covers the cost of the drinks and the food,
The setup.
but it's a very nominal cost. And basically, you could go to McDonald's and I don't know, have a coffee afterwards. This will be cheaper and it'll taste better and it'll be better for your brain.
Yeah.
So there is a nominal cost to that. And the job fair has just a registration cost, which is $10, and the point of that is just to secure your spot and to ensure that people who register show up.
Yeah.
And we want to do that not for us. We want to make sure that people who register actually go for their benefit, for their good.
Because the employers are excited to meet and chat with you. So we want to make sure that we have a really nice flow of people that are coming, that are as interested as in meeting them.
Absolutely. And you'll find that all our events, we're going to have our schedule up next week. You'll find that all of our events, our costs are very reasonable. We do that very purposefully. If there is a cost, there's an intention behind that, and it's as low as we can possibly have it because we want as many people to take advantage of our services as possible.
Yeah, and benefit from everything that CATS has to offer.
Yeah, and we have some soft skills, for example, and some of those, and we get industry leaders to come give those soft skill sessions, and some of those people would be charging a lot of money for a session, and if you come through CATS, you'll get it at a very, very reduced rate because we're here to facilitate things for you. Absolutely. So I think those are our any finishing thoughts for this great year.
We know you can make it happen.
Oh, we're sure you can make it happen. And on top of that, we're here to help you make it happen. So again, to reach us, it's cats@mcgill.ca. You can register for our events, and if something's not up now, it will be in the next few days as we're finishing our planning as well. We hope to see you at the job fair, which is on March 15th. We hope to see you at the recruiter evening, which is on February 1st, a Friday evening. And we hope to see you at the professional transition series, highly recommended. Two fantastic facilitators will walk you through this framework that you can use today and tomorrow and always, because it's a framework that's always applicable, even when you've already worked for several years. So even if you have several years job experience, this is still very useful. And that starts on Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Wednesday, January 23rd.
From 1 to 4?
1 to 4.
Yes, it's 6 consecutive Wednesdays. So as I said, we're going to say goodbye now and Happy New Year, and I'll toast you to 2019. There's only water in here because I'll have to wait till Friday, February 1st to get wine in here. But we wish you all the luck and success and joy that this year can bring you. And if you're watching this and it's not live, as I mentioned, do please feel free to send us your questions. We always answer them, and we look forward to doing that. Wonderful. We are
Hi,
cats.
guys. There we go.